You believe your own narrative without testing it. The story that feels like a fact. There are things you say about yourself that feel completely true. Not opinions, not guesses, just facts. Like, I'm not good at this, or I always mess this up. You don't usually question those statements. You just accept them. I've caught myself doing this without even noticing. Saying something about my ability like it's already decided, even when I haven't actually tested it recently. Where that narrative comes from. Most of these narratives don't start with careful thinking. They come from a few past experiences, repeated enough times to feel permanent. Maybe something didn't go well once or twice, and your brain turned that into a pattern. Over time, that pattern becomes a label, and eventually, the label starts to feel like identity. Why it feels so convincing? Your brain prefers consistency. If it believes something about you, it looks for evidence to support it. And it usually finds it. This is interesting because it doesn't look for all the evidence, just the evidence that matches the narrative. So every small confirmation strengthens the belief, even if there are examples that contradict it. The problem with not testing it. The issue is not having a narrative. Everyone has one. The issue is not testing it. When you stop questioning a belief, it stops evolving. You don't give yourself the chance to see if it's still true. And because it feels familiar, you assume it must be accurate. A situation that feels familiar. I've seen this during schoolwork. Someone struggles with a topic once and decides they are just bad at it. After that, every mistake feels like proof. But if they tried again in a different way or with more time, the result might change. The original experience becomes a fixed conclusion, even though it was just one moment. How narratives limit what you try. Once a narrative is in place, it starts to shape your choices. You avoid certain challenges not because you can't do them, but because you believe you can't. That belief feels like logic, but it's actually untested. And that means you might be limiting yourself, based on something that was never fully examined. What happens when you test it? Testing a belief changes how it feels. Instead of assuming it's true, you treat it like a possibility. You try again, maybe in a different way, and see what actually happens. Sometimes the result confirms the belief, but sometimes it doesn't, and that's where things start to shift. Why this is hard to do? Testing your own narrative can feel uncomfortable. It means risking being wrong about something you've believed for a long time. But it also means giving yourself a chance to see something different. That tension is part of the process. Final thoughts. You don't always notice the stories you tell yourself, but they shape how you think and act. And if those stories go untested, they start to feel permanent, but they're not. They're just conclusions that were never questioned. And once you start testing them, even a little, it becomes easier to see what's actually true and what just feels familiar. Thanks for watching.